Hi there, my name is Reza Ali. I'm CEO of Right Eye Sendirian Berhad, a Malaysian corporate training and leadership development team focused on results through experiential training, which basically means I conduct corporate training in Malaysia. Welcome to this video, which is going to be a part of a series of videos that I'm going to produce with the hope of sharing some of my thoughts and some of my views on the training industry in Malaysia and maybe globally. So I wanted to share some thoughts that I have about corporate training and COVID-19, especially 7 practical challenges to face for the corporate training industry. I've had the opportunity to conduct some virtual and web-based workshops since the COVID-19 virus pandemic started, and based on that, I've had some interesting experiences that I wanted to share. We primarily conduct physical workshops prior to COVID-19, specializing in essential skills such as communications and presentations, leadership, and team. So let's plod on, shall we? All right. The first thing that we need to understand is that there are challenges presented by the social distancing strategy that most governments have adopted. What this means for corporate trainers is that physical workshops are no longer acceptable, and there will be a greater dependency on virtual and web-based workshops. There are some other interesting facts that we need to understand. We need to confront the brutal facts. Number one, according to a study conducted by a group of researchers at Harvard and the School of Public Health in Boston, Massachusetts, they've said that intermittent distancing may be required into 2022 unless critical care capacity is increased substantially or a treatment or vaccine becomes available. I'm going to leave a link to that study in the description below. Second brutal fact. According to an article that I've just read today, a pharmaceuticals company executive said on Thursday that one or several COVID-19 vaccines could begin rolling out before 2021, but warned the challenges would be daunting as it was estimated that 15 billion doses would be needed to halt the pandemic. So that's 15 billion. It's a number you just have to imagine. That's 15 billion glass vials that has to be manufactured with the vaccine and distributed all over the world and administered to citizens on planet Earth. And I can't even begin to understand the logistics involved and the complexity involved in doing that. But that's a different issue. We just have to understand that yes, vaccine research is underway and there are some optimistic results, but getting the vaccine is half the problem. The other half is distribution of the vaccine. Another brutal fact, this is a paper conducted by McKinsey called Adapting Workplace Learning in the Time of Coronavirus. Link in the description below. Based on our observations as of early March, roughly one half of in-person programs through June 30, 2020 have been postponed or cancelled in North America. In parts of Asia and Europe, the figure is closer to 100%. So there are no physical workshops since March. And I can testify to that because a lot of my workshops have been cancelled or postponed depending on the terminology that they use. So I've had to move a lot of my physical workshops into virtual workshops, and hence the things that I wanted to share with you based on that experience. So the fact of the matter is this: we have to be in this for the long run, and I'm, at least for my company, Right Eye, I am already preparing to change our business model and our service delivery to take into account that there will be no in-person training or physical workshops for the next 48 months. That's 4 years. And that's a long time. So I have no choice but to make sure that we move everything online. So I've been thinking about how to do this, and these are the 7 practical challenges that I wanted to share. It wasn't a question of, let's subscribe to Zoom, Google Meet or Microsoft Teams, put a webcam up and conduct the workshops. It's not. That's the quick fix. And that was something that I had to do almost immediately in order to get things going. But after a while, everybody's doing that. And as far as I am concerned, I need to start finding ways to ensure that I deliver value to my clients and participants. The quick fix of subscribing to Zoom and putting a webcam on and conducting workshops is not a viable strategy, at least in being able to deliver value. So in doing that, here are the 7 challenges that I have identified. First, practical challenge. There are limited avenues for experiential learning. So at least my workshops are very experiential. Experiential in terms of we have games, we have activities, we have exercises, and we have simulations. And they work extremely well in the workshop environment. But it requires people to be in physical proximity with each other. It requires interaction. It requires putting people in teams. That is obviously a challenge when we want to do it virtually, because I can tell you 75% of the games and the activities that I conduct in my workshops need to be rethink. I need to change the way it's done. And it wasn't just migrating to the online world and coming up with soft copies. I have to change the way the rules of the games are set up. I have to change the setup itself. There are certain props that we use in the workshop that obviously can't be used in the virtual world. And I'm facing a lot of challenges in coming up with activities that can replicate the experience we gave at the physical workshops. And as far as I'm concerned, those activities which leads to experiential learning is the value that we get from attending a physical workshop. Otherwise, it's just a matter of transfer of knowledge, which doesn't give much value and certainly doesn't require a person like me to train or conduct or facilitate those workshops. It's easier to just read an article or watch a video. And that's a major challenge which I don't have an answer for at the moment. Second practical challenge is screen fatigue. Look, it's not easy to look at a screen for hours on end. And I consider myself to be quite a dynamic instructor. I move around a lot. I'm very energetic, and I give out a lot of high energy in my physical workshops. And even here, in this particular domain that you're seeing me right now, I do hope I'm projecting a certain kind of energy. But no matter how much energy I give out, people are still going to be tired of looking at the screen. And if we do this, and don't forget, we conduct training virtually. People look at the screen. They have meetings. They have to look at the screen. When they work, they have to look at the screen. And I can't even imagine the thought of a person looking at the screen for 8, 10, 12 hours a day continuously. So screen fatigue, I think, is going to be a major issue. It leads to people not being able to pay attention. It can also lead to people having challenges in concentrating, and even send them and even make them not able to absorb the information that we want them to absorb. The third challenge, which was a real pain in the butt for me, was unstable connectivity. It's frustrating to start a session with participants, and in the times that I'm able to start to get them to share their experience or share their thoughts, suddenly the connectivity becomes unstable, and they start, you lose the voice, and sometimes you lose the video, sometimes you lose both, sometimes they have to log out and log back in, and it's very, very frustrating to have to depend on unstable internet connectivity, which for some reason becomes unstable at the wrong time. Challenge number 4, different levels of IT competence. So there's, you get people are not comfortable with the idea of using technology to learn, and I have come across people who we literally have to hold their hands in order to get them to be able to navigate the applications, and get them to be able to do the exercises, and get them to be able to browse through all the multiple platforms that we use to collaborate and share information. And that's certainly very, very frustrating for me, almost to the extent that I have to create a separate course that I have to give to everybody who's going to participate in my workshops, which is going to be something along the lines of introduction to virtual learning, and get them to be able to start using the applications. Next challenge, challenge number 5, devices and equipment variety. You have people with different operating system, iOS, Windows, Android, Mac OS, and those operating systems have different versions, and we have to make sure that everything that we do is compatible with all the equipment that they have. So much I've come across some clients that I have, and they tell me that none of their participants owns a laptop, and they don't have desktops, and they have to do this at home. So I have to change everything in order for people to be able to experience the full virtual workshop using the small screen of the handphone. And I have to change the presentation material, I have to change everything, because looking at the small handphone, there's not many amount of information that we can show at any one time. And on top of that, there's also different varieties of webcam and microphone quality, and sometimes the microphone or the other end is not working well, and we have difficulty in hearing them. I have to make sure at least all my equipment are up to standard. But no matter how good my equipment is, if the other side can't deliver the quality that I need them to deliver, then that's an issue. Challenge number 6, participants' reluctance to change and try new things. Some people just want to go to a physical workshop, and people just want to sit down and experience the workshop, and especially in the older generation who seems to have shut their mind to the idea of being able to effectively learn something through a virtual workshop is a big challenge. I am already encountering people who are just giving up and not being able, because they're not used to this. They're not used to the idea of having somebody talk to them through video conferencing and having to use all the web-based and internet applications to interact, to submit assignments, to ask questions, and that's a major challenge that is giving me a headache. And the final thing is security and privacy concerns. So, you've heard of Zoom bombing, you've heard of people accessing things when they're not supposed to access, you've heard of people putting up obscene pictures and videos in the middle of a corporate virtual conference, and that's certainly very scary. It has never happened to me, and I've had to change. I am using Zoom as a primary channel for conducting workshops, but I now have to be able to migrate to Microsoft Teams, and I have to be able to do it on Google Meet or any other applications that companies are more comfortable to use. And hopefully I would not have those issues in any of my workshops, but it's certainly something that we need to address. All right, so those are the 7 challenges that I've identified. Challenge 1, limited avenues for experiential learning. Number 2, screen fatigue. Number 3, unstable connectivity. Number 4, different levels of IT competence. Challenge number 5, device and equipment variety. Challenge number 6, participants' reluctance to change and try new things. And challenge number 7, security and privacy concern. So I hope that makes some sense to you. I am going, in my next video, I'm going to share what are some of the things that my company and me are doing to address some of these challenges. I hope this has helped you. Please click on the like button if this has been of use to you. If you have any questions, leave it in the comment section below. I'm interested to hear what would be some of your challenges that I haven't addressed, and what are some of the things that you are doing in order to address some of these challenges. Please subscribe to this YouTube channel, which is managed by my company, Right Eye. We are a Malaysian corporate training and leadership development team focused on results through experiential learning. We do a lot of essential skills like communications and presentations, as well as leadership and team. You can see our motto here: make everything a learning experience, which is something that we hold very strongly and something that we are almost obsessed about. My name is Reza Ali. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at the next video.